It's November, and that means it's time to talk about all of the No Spice new releases that are coming out this month. I think this month is especially exciting because there's so many holiday and Christmas romances that I think you guys are going to be just as excited about as I am. Along with Christmas, we also have some fall, some hockey, and some other books sprinkled in. And honestly, I think this might be the longest No Spice new releases month video I've ever done, so let's just go ahead and get right to it. Starting off with our 3 fall books, and first we have Chestnut Checkers by Annah Conwell. This comes out on November 13th. And this is a rivals to lovers football college romance. This is the first book in her new rom-com university series, which I think is all going to be college romances, which I think is so fun, especially for the fall time. And this series is on Kindle Unlimited. Next, on November 15th, we have Love at Teamsgiving by Ellie Hall. This is a second chance enemies to lovers Thanksgiving romance, and this is the 6th book in her Nebraska Knights hockey holiday romance series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. And I think this one's so fun because I did a lot of searching last year for Thanksgiving specific romance books and had a really hard time finding them. I did find a few, and I made a video that I can link if you guys are interested, but this one comes out right in time for Thanksgiving, so I think this would be a really fun one to pick up during Thanksgiving week. Lastly, for fall, on November 18th, we have Hearts in Circulation by Sarah Monzin, who I believe is a Christian author. And this is a forced proximity grumpy sunshine romance with a bookmobile, which you can see on the cover. And I believe this whole series, which is called Checking Out Love, is like bookish books, which I think is so fun and very cozy for this time of year. Now getting into the Christmas romances, which I am very excited about. First up, we have 2 whose specific release dates are still kind of up in the air, but both of the authors have said they're coming out in November, so that's why I put them on this list. First, we have My Merry Mistake by Courtney Walsh. This is the 3rd book in her Holidays with Heart series, and this series is on Kindle Unlimited. This is Raya's story. If you've read the first 2 books, then you know the 3rd sister. And this will be like a holiday hockey romance set in a small town outside of Chicago. So I think you get like small town and big city. That's how the first 2 were. And I am so excited about this one. Huge Courtney Walsh fan, and I love the first 2 books, and I love Christmas. So this seems like a perfect match. Then we also have How to Kiss on Christmas Morning by Jenny Proctor. This is her new Christmas novella. And this is a love story between Alec's sister from When Alec Met Evie in the Appy series and Noah Hawthorne, who is a cousin of the brothers in the How to Kiss a Hawthorne Brother series. So I think this is just like a melding of some of her worlds and characters, which I think will be so fun in the little package of a Christmas novella. Then on November 4th, we have Meddling Under the Mistletoe by Melissa Grace. This is on Kindle Unlimited. And this romance follows a mother and a daughter's romances around the holidays. And specifically, if you love dogs, the female main character in this book is a vet. And I think there's just lots of dogs and things like that. So I feel like this one would be perfect for you. Then another Kindle Unlimited November 4th release is Terms and Traditions by Morgan Taylor Giesbrecht. And this is a friends to lovers workplace fake dating romance. And I've said it before, I'll say it a million times. Friends to lovers with fake dating is one of my favorite combos, so would love to pick this up for Christmas time. Then on November 5th, we have the first book in a new No Spice series called The Peppermint Playbook for the holidays. This is on Kindle Unlimited. And the first book is called Jingle Blades by Tomi Tab. I think all of the books in this series follow like a different athlete or sport at this resort around the holidays. So this one specifically is a best friend's brother figure skater romance, which is perfect for the wintertime. Also November 5th, we have Joy to Noel by Tracy Back. This is a small town Christmas romance with some forced proximity. And this is the 2nd book in her Christmas in Noel series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. Moving right along to November 10th, we have Planes, Rains, and Automobiles by Kate Watson. This is an enemies to lovers, secret identity, holiday road trip romance, which I love the like traveling kind of trope around the holidays. I think it obviously kind of romanticizes it because traveling around the holidays is actually not as fun as it seems in books, but in books, I feel like it's really fun to read about. And the official release date for this is technically in December, but the author has shared on Instagram that she's hoping for a November 10th release date, so that's why I've included it here. And this will be on Kindle Unlimited. Now for some November 11th releases. First we have Date Yourself a Grinch by Savannah Scott. This is a small town holiday romance, and this is the third book in her Have Yourself a Merry Little Romance series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. Also November 11th, we have The Christmas Arrangement by Melissa F. Miller. And You're Not Having Deja Vu. This book was in last month's video, but I guess the release date got pushed back, so I'm including it here again. But this is an opposites attract small town romance with a hint of mystery, which I feel like is very fun during the holidays when I feel like I'm reading a lot of like Christmas romances and rom-coms, to sprinkle in a little bit of some of that genre bending, something else to mix it up. Also November 11th, we have Christmas Games and Candy Canes by C.P. Cabanis. This is a Rivals to Lovers Christmas competition romance, which sounds so perfect. It sounds like a Hallmark movie, and I am very excited to see what this Christmas competition looks like. But this is the first book in her Glenwood Heart series, which is on Kindle Unlimited. Lastly, on November 11th, we have The Chalet Next Door by Cassandra Joelle. This is a ski/cowboy Christian romance set in Wyoming during a snowstorm, which sounds very cozy. I actually have a friend who lives in Wyoming, and I immediately thought of her when I read the synopsis. I was like, she has to read this book. But this one is also one that you can grab on Kindle Unlimited. Next, we have Highland Holiday by Casey Stockton on November 12th. This is a snowed-in, grumpy sunshine romance set in the Scottish Highlands, which there's just something about that part of the world during like the Christmas holiday season in Hallmark movies or in romance books. It just feels so magical and like the perfect setting for a holiday romance. This one is also one you can grab on Kindle Unlimited. Another one for November 12th is the second book in the Peppermint Playbook series on Kindle Unlimited, and that is Serving Scrooge by Katie Nelson. This one is a tennis romance between a Christmas enthusiast and a Grinch. Then on November 19th, we have the third book in the Peppermint Playbook Kindle Unlimited series, and that is Checking You Twice by Larissa Holmes. This one is a hockey romance that starts with a impromptu, I think, mistletoe kiss and then turns into more. This one is a little bit different and fun. On November 19th, we have Silent Heist by Janessa Faith. And this is an adventure rom-com, and it's based on Home Alone, which is one of the most iconic Christmas movies of all time. And it will be on Kindle Unlimited. Then on November 26th, we have Fumble All the Way by Deb Goodman. This is the fourth book in the Peppermint Playbook Kindle Unlimited series. And this one is an enemies to lovers football player ballroom dancer romance, which one, I feel like is super unique. And two, I feel like Dancing with the Stars is really having its moment right now. It's super popular this season, I feel like. And so I feel like if you've been watching that or you love ballroom dancing or anything like that, this would be a perfect one for you to read for Christmas. And rounding out the Christmas portion of this list, on November 30th, we have Christmas Lights and Just Mites by Renee S. Clark. And this one is an age gap single dad Christmas romance. Now for some hockey romances, I have 3 that are coming out in November. First, on November 5th, we have The Love Face-Off by Christine W. Joy. This one is a sister's best friend hockey romance, and this is the 4th book in her Glaciers hockey romance series on Kindle Unlimited. Then we also have From Ice to Grace by Anne J. David. This is a Christian hockey romance book, and it comes out on November 7th. And this is the 2nd book in her The Heart of a Ranger series. And then lastly for hockey, we have Overtime with You by Faith Carter coming out on November 18th. This one is a workplace hockey romance, and it's the 3rd book in her Seattle Firebirds hockey series on Kindle Unlimited. And ending off this list with 6 romances that aren't fall or Christmas or hockey, but are still no spice romances that you're going to want to have on your radar for November. November 6th, we have Royally Off Limits by Kate O'Keefe. This is an opposites attract royal romance, and it's described as Princess Diaries for grown-ups, which First of all, you can watch Princess Diaries even as a grown-up, but having a romance book to read that is reminiscent of Princess Diaries sounds so fun. And this is the 4th book in her Royally Kissed series on Kindle Unlimited. Then also November 6th, we have The Wild Card by Emma St. Clair, which I feel like people have been waiting for. This is the 4th book in her Love Stories in Sheet Cake series on Kindle Unlimited. This one is a fake dating romance set in small town Texas. Then on November 12th, we have Let's Pretend by Lindsay Rochester. This is a celebrity romance that's set in London while I think both of the main characters are on vacation, and this one is on Kindle Unlimited. And then There Was You by Sophie Cousins comes out on November 18th. And in this one, a woman gets a date for her 10-year college reunion from like a dating service online, just for like the night, so she's not alone, I think, but then ends up wondering, could he actually be perfect for her? And I don't know if this will be true, but the description and stuff of this one was giving me a little bit of like magical realism or something else going on, so I don't know if that's going to be true, but that's kind of the feeling I was getting when I was reading about this book. Then our last 2 books both come out on November 20th. First, we have So Not Smitten with the Billionaire Next Door by Kylie Kidd. This is a billionaire and a dancer small town romance that's said to be for fans of Virgin River. And this is the first book in her Kindle Unlimited series called Dance Dreams. And lastly, we have Tell Me True by Karina Taylor. This is a forced proximity marriage of convenience romance, and this is the 4th and I believe final book in her Kindle Unlimited series, All's Fair. And those are all of the No Spice new releases I had for November. I make these kinds of videos every month, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any future ones. And go ahead and leave a comment down below of what book you are adding to your TBR or hoping to pick up in November. If you're looking for some more No Spice recent releases to add to your TBR as well, I will link last month's video here for you to watch next. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, friends.